Look, from what I heard, it was a very terrible incident here on the 5th level of Westfield, level 5. And this guy was running around randomly attacking people, which was a terrible thing for people that are coming out doing their daily duties on a Saturday afternoon. And look, to me, to hear about this and then and see and hear about the Link Cafe many years ago it's just disgrace. These people they're just sick. Well, my personal feelings are it's not nice. We're living in a country that we're fearful of everyone. You got to keep your wits, you got to keep everything around you and look who's behind you rather than just looking ahead.
We're obviously all very shocked and saddened by the whole thing. There's quite a few younger people that have been massacred, I suppose you'd have to call it, wouldn't you? That's all I've got to say, but today has been the day where I felt it more than yesterday, even though I live in the area. I think it's set in, hasn't it? You don't expect it to happen in Australia.
Do you feel safe here?
Yes, I think I do. I think hopefully it's just a one-off.
It really makes you think that we need to be really vigilant with our surroundings. You just don't know what's going to happen, and it's just terribly sad. And just a little baby girl won't have her mum. You know, it's just no words to describe. Just awful for all the victims, their families, and everyone that was here yesterday. It was just an awful, awful day.
This incident is really terrible, really, but in the harshest time, it's heroic act and bravery. Someone to try to save people's lives and helping each other is a good thing.
I'm here every day like this lady. We've been locals forever. We're always here. I work here. I'm here all the time. And it's a place where you come to relax, to look around, have a wander around the shops. It's a lovely, lovely area. And
you wouldn't expect this sort of thing to happen, really?
No, but you know, I'm always, as you can be, alert to what's going on around you, because this day and age you just don't know what's going to happen. It can pop up anywhere, but yeah, it's a place to come and meet friends, work, be happy. I worked here myself twice this week in Westfield, so I'm feeling very lucky that, you know, that I wasn't caught up in it. We have amazing support. Just being here now, I don't live far. I really wanted to come here and just be with people that feel like I do, and this lady just and the support I think everyone's going to have, and just you can see here they've got people here if you need to talk to someone. And I think the way that the first responders were yesterday, we're very lucky here in Australia. We have the most amazing support. They really, really, really look after us. Like, can't even put into words. So just thinking of all the families at this time, yeah, and wish them a recovery, hopefully, for the ones still struggling. But yeah,
just watching on, it was just incomprehensible this could happen in Sydney and in Australia. I was in America a couple of months ago, and it's the kind of thing that we've unfortunately become really used to seeing in other countries, particularly in the US, but it's just something you'd never imagine would happen here in Australia. And also in just the middle of the day, just in the middle of a really busy shopping centre, such a hub for eastern Sydney, just truly awful. And to think of, I guess, the level of terror for people that were there, it must be incredibly traumatic trying to process that now. I think also for people who live in the area and maybe weren't in the shopping centre at the time, but could have been, they were maybe contemplating going later on, or they knew someone that was in there, it just must be incredibly difficult to process all of that. So it's really heartening to see there, a lot of support here today. There's some lifeline stalls, people reaching out for support. We have a big showing of support with the flowers as well. So it's just really heartening to see that in such a horrific event, there's been a real showing of support, that the whole city and the whole country's come together, and we've seen some really strong statements from the leaders as well, and from the police leadership as well.
Look, it's pretty shocking. I mean, I've lived here on and off a long time. You know, occasionally there's a drug deal gone wrong, or some kind of a situation involving a knife or firearm. But yeah, yesterday, I guess the scale of it, pretty shocking. Terrible situation.
Do you think that Australia has changed because of this incident?
Not because of the incident. I mean, it's changing. I mean, I don't know if I spent a bit of time working in the US. Particularly places like San Francisco, there's a really industrial quantity of unchecked mental health or people off medication. Are we drifting towards that? Hard to say. I don't have the statistics.
Do you think this has changed Australia?
Well, being in my early 30s, I guess I'm old enough to remember 9/11 and what that did to the world, I guess the psyche. So I think that always felt like a time when we lost our innocence as a society. But I think since then, I guess the thing that really kind of, for me, I didn't live in Sydney when the Lynch siege happened, but that was just a completely altered the landscape, I think, for the country. And then Bourke Street, that awful thing that happened in Bourke Street. So I think this is kind of another of those events where it's just dramatically altered the consciousness of the country. And yeah, I think for people, particularly younger people who haven't seen something like this happen, it must be incredibly difficult to process. I really feel for parents as well who are trying to have conversations with their children about this. It's just a really, really difficult thing. So I think it has. It's made things, I guess, feel a little bit less safe in Australia, which is awful to think, because it would appear this is a completely isolated thing. It doesn't have any terror-related or ideological motive. But yeah, to think that this could happen at all is really, really unsettling.
Do you feel less safe now in Bondi Junction?
Is it? I mean, it's not a regular occurrence. Is it likely to happen again? Probably not. I'm sure there'll be a mood of fear after this. Yeah, I mean, the scale of it. I mean, someone sent me a message to say if I was all right yesterday, and I actually discounted it a little bit, the severity of it, until I sort of saw some of the live report, and then it was like, oh my God, this is really, yeah, it was 5-6 people, baby. I mean, the weird thing about the Westfield is that, there are, it's riddled with cameras and, security guards and things like that. I know during COVID and those, there was the Woolies at Double Bay had a Maori bouncer, guarding rolls of toilet paper. Obviously not your everyday situation, but, I mean, were these people there, or, I don't know. It's one of those ambient kind of questions. I mean, the tale of two Sydneys as well. Violent situations probably a bit more common in different parts of Sydney. The east, due to its money and so on, is reasonably absent of the regularity of these occurrences. Yeah, I'm sure it'll leave a couple of sort of ripples in the local community.